President Trump tonight and his emergency order grounding all Boeing 737 MAX 8s and 9s here in the U.S. The move came amid growing pressure. The UK, France, Germany, Canada had all grounded the jets already. President Trump announcing the decision from the FAA, citing new evidence. Tonight, what we've now learned, why his decision today. And that order taking effect immediately, leading to confusion, concern. You will hear air traffic controllers telling pilots of the news ordered back to the terminal. And tonight, news pilots and some first officers had anonymously shared their own concerns, some of them, about that new Boeing jet during some domestic flights. ABC's David Curley covers aviation, and he leads us off tonight.
This Southwest 737 MAX 8 flight into D.C., one of the last, as the U.S. tonight joins the rest of the world.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9. It's the safety of the American people and all people is our paramount concern.
Immediately, 3 U.S. airlines told to stop flying their 737 MAXs.
We just got a call from your company. You need to contact them.
Tower Southwest 410, we've been directed to return to the gate.
This MAX 8 towed from the gate and parked, one of 72 idled. The federal government was under public pressure for days, having watched China, Europe, and today Canada ground aircraft. Flight maps from last week now showing the MAXs disappearing as they were parked. The reason? Similarities between Sunday's crash in Ethiopia, which killed 157, and the Lion Air crash in Indonesia less than 5 months earlier. Both flights with the nose moving erratically up and down right after takeoff. A refinement of tracking data from satellites overnight, according to the FAA, and evidence from this debris field in Ethiopia convinced the agency there are enough similarities in these flights it grounded the fleet.
Does this mean the two crashes are related?
It does not mean the two crashes are related, but they're close enough that it's worth saying stop flying these airplanes till we get the black boxes read out.
Those 2 black boxes found 2 days ago in Ethiopia are damaged. The delay in extracting data, part of the reason for the U.S. grounding. But tonight, those boxes will be flown to France. The data could confirm if the crashes are related and whether the fastest-selling jetliner ever has a problem. Already, Boeing is working a software fix for one of the contributing factors in the Lion Air crash. And while there have been no documented cases of this erratic behavior on a U.S. flight, a pilot and first officer posted on an anonymous message board that their 737 MAX nosed down when the autopilot was engaged. Tonight, nearly all 370 of this brand new jetliner sitting on the ground. Passengers landing today reacting to the news.
The pilot came on and he said, President just said that all the flights are grounded and we're returning to the gate. So not much we can do, I'm afraid.
All right, David Curley with us live tonight from Reagan Airport. And David, you've reported that Boeing is working on that fix you mentioned after what happened in the first crash in Indonesia, that nosedive in that crash. And then the Wall Street Journal suggesting that that fix might have been delayed by the government shutdown, but tonight the FAA pushing back on that?
I asked the FAA administrator directly whether or not the government shutdown has slowed down that software fix, and he told me it has not. It'll still be several weeks before it's ready. By the way, David, that's a MAX 8 that's going nowhere.
David Curley leading us off tonight. David, thank you. I do want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl. And John, as we look at those pictures from airports across the country tonight, pilots being told to come back to the gate, a lot of passengers who really were already alarmed are going to wonder, after France, Germany, the UK all grounded the jets, why was the U.S. the last to ground the planes?
Well, in fact, David, I am told by a senior White House official that a decision was initially made this morning not to ground the planes because the official said there was absolutely no information suggesting any fundamental problem with the Boeing 737 MAX. That changed midday today when the administration became aware of that new satellite data suggesting a possible link between the Ethiopian air crash and the earlier crash in Indonesia. At that point, the FAA and the Department of Transportation made a recommendation that those planes be initially grounded. The Secretary of Transportation called the president, and he accepted that recommendation.
All right, John Karl at the White House tonight on that part of the story. John, thank you.